Hello everyone and welcome to Love, Light and Learn TV. Today is a really special day because I have a special friend who's going to come and tell us some really cool stuff about herself. Are you ready to learn? Amazing! I'm ready to learn too. As you can see, I already have on my Regal reading glasses and of course, we're right here on the Soulful sofa. Alright, make sure that you're listening. What's that you said? Okay, let's turn up the volume on our ears. Amazing! Can you hear me better now? Okay. Oh, you're telling me one other thing. How could I forget this? We're gonna need to turn down the volume on our mouths since we're listening. Alright, let's do it. Good job, everyone. Okay, now that the volume on our mouth is down and the volume on our ears are up, I think we should invite my special friend to the Soulful sofa.
Hi, I'm Maggie and I'm today's Radiant Role Model. Ever since I was little, I always loved being in front of the camera, and it only makes sense that I grew up later on to having a YouTube channel. So that is something that I really enjoy doing. I love creating video content, and specifically I love sharing with people educational content about countries and cultures. I grew up in a very multicultural household. I am Guyanese. My parents are from Haiti, but they raised me in Jamaica. And I also love food. You know that if you live in a house that is so culturally diverse, that the food is always going to be good. And so I always got to taste a variety of different food. And now that I live in Toronto, I feel like I am living in a place that I can explore different cultures through food, and meeting new people is definitely a plus. I like to think of myself as a cultural enthusiast and also a social media marketer, and both of those go hand in hand because I love to create video content about culture and teaching people about different countries, and social media is the best way to get your message out there. So I use all the platforms available to me: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, to reach as many people as possible, and they always learn something new, and I also learn from them. So funny enough, the first project I ever got was from my dad, and he wanted to be able to share the message of the work that his organization was doing with his donors. And so I said, you know what, Dad, instead of doing a boring old presentation, why don't you do a video presentation that really tells the story of the work and the people involved? And he gave me this assignment. It was going to be shown to the government of Belize and everything, and from there I noticed that I really love to share stories through videos. And so when I moved to Canada, I met a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds, and just hearing them share with me their cultural background, how similar it was to mine in some aspect, but also how different it was, it made me want to share that with other people. So I started my YouTube channel, Kariz Maggie TV. I think what I enjoy most is having people feel heard. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out what kind of content I want to do, but I know at the end of the day I want people to feel inspired, to learn something new, and also to be empowered. There are a lot of us that we come from different cultural background, but we feel as if no one really cares to know about our country or our culture. We kind of feel like we have to hide also who we are in terms of that aspect. So it's really cool when I get a comment from someone like, hey, I really like that video, my grandmother is from that country and I didn't really know much about the culture, so thank you. Now I'm gonna go and find out more information about it. So comments like that really warms my heart. I find it hard sometimes to ignore mean comments. You know, sometimes people say things that are not so nice, and especially if it's about a country or a culture that I share, I want to defend that country that I'm talking about. So having to decide, should I reply to this comment, should I just ignore it? Also, is this a moment for me to teach this person something else? So kind of like treating them with kindness. Sometimes that can be hard, especially if you're frustrated. So that is something I definitely always find myself working on. If I see a mean comment, I don't reply right away. I just allow myself to breathe, think about it, try and see what the person is saying, and then I reply, or I'll just ignore it. Oh, I think the most challenging thing is that culture is so fluid, because what was something that we practice today is going to change tomorrow. So having to keep up with the changes in culture, the adjustments, how you know, everything can change at any time, and also making sure that I'm doing my best to give proper information that is current, and ensuring that people feel represented in the content that I share, and that it is correct as well. It's very important that I share content that is correct about a country or a culture. So I think that's the most difficult thing for me right now. I think I'm really good at connecting with people. I mean, I lived in 4 different countries, and every time I moved, I had to start my life all over again. So I have friends from literally all over the world, and I find that it's very easy for me to strike up a conversation with someone, to just talk about something, whether it's about their food, whether it's about their cultural clothing, the language. Like, I'm very much a language geek person. I love learning about different languages. So that would be my strength, really connecting with people and hearing more about their stories. I would say my parents, because my parents have been the biggest inspirations for me to really respect people. As I mentioned, they're from Haiti, and for years, you know, anyone who was from Haiti, some people were ashamed of even recognizing that they were from the country because of all the negative stereotypes that were placed upon them. So my parents really instilled in me being kind to people, not judging people, and indulging myself in culture. So now I am able to submerge myself in culture, and I encourage people to do that as well, so they can live meaningful lives. Success for me personally would be feeling content, feeling as if I have accomplished what I set out to accomplish. So even right now, with being a YouTuber in particular, you know, everyone has success defined a different way. Who has the most subscribers, who has the most likes and views. For me, it's really, did the video that I make an impact for someone to find information that they needed, to feel seen, or to be educated. So once I've done any of those 3, I define that as success for myself. Firstly, God, because the struggle is real. You know, I would say that's where I get my inspiration from, and my strength, and also that energy that you need to come on camera and to say what you need to say. He's the one that really directs me, that I question myself. Is this content going to help someone to learn today? Am I doing right by the country or the culture that I'm talking about? So I would say firstly God, and then people who have supported me, whether that's friends or family or people who I just meet on the internet who support my content and love it. They would come next in terms of who I have to owe my success to, for sure. One would be listening, like active listening. So that allows me to not just go by what I have seen on mainstream media or what I have read, but actually speaking with people, hearing their experiences, so that I know that even within cultures, everyone can have different experiences within the same exact culture. So how I can bring that across. So active listening. The second one would be commitment. So if I say I am going to do X amount of videos for this month, I am going to find the time to record, editing, which is a struggle, and also putting out the video, and no matter what the views are, to continue going. And the last one would be compassion. Yeah, there's some level of compassion that is needed, especially as I mentioned before. Sometimes you get mean comments. It's just, sometimes you just gotta give grace to people, or just ignore and move on. Sometimes people just gotta vent, and that's really it. Not everything needs a response. I think the most rewarding aspect, I have been learning more about my culture through this journey. So what started out as just, you know, bringing awareness to other cultures allowed me to now tap into my culture more. So I have been learning more, especially about Haitian history, also the language. I recently downloaded Duolingo. If anyone knows Duolingo, it's a language learning app, and that has allowed me to learn the language more. So I'm actively like speaking with my parents. Like I can now text. So I used to, I was able to speak it, but I wasn't able to like text and spell words and things like that. And that has allowed me to connect with other people who are a part of that similar community that speaks a Creole-based language. So yeah, it has definitely brought more self-awareness for me in recognizing how I have found myself and found my voice. So in doing something for others, I have in turn found something for myself as well. So yeah. My favorite book would be Becca Lamb. So this was a book I read when I was in high school, and funny enough, when I was going to school in Jamaica, I read this book, and it was written by a Belizean author. And then a few years later, I moved to Belize and actually lived there. So a lot of the things that were mentioned in the book, I talked to like, my friends from Belize, and they were bringing me to like some of the places that were mentioned in the book. And I just really loved it because I felt like it touched on a lot of things regarding the culture and also brought awareness to there were just so many aspects in the book. So that's one book that I think I remember from cover to cover, and I just absolutely love it. Always stay true to who you are. It is a very hard world out here. It can be cold sometimes, but always remember to stay true to yourself. Remember to practice kindness, not just to yourself, but also to others. And yeah, just be yourself, y'all. Like the best gift you can give yourself is to just be yourself. So you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok at CharisMaggieTV. So it's the words charismatic and my nickname Maggie that was merged together to make up this name. So this shirt that I made, I am not selling merch just yet, but hopefully in the future I'll be doing that to help me fund my project. I'm now self-funded and independent at the moment, so you can just support me by watching my content, sharing it, even engaging in conversation on social media with me as well. My black is phenomenal because that's the way God made me.